We are back at the EQN Sports Desk, powered by Equinity. Mr. Jay Schaefer. Hey, buddy, here's the deal. I want to take you back to 2007. Okay? It's when I got hired by Helamatic. I was trying to make a living announcing. I was going broke, and I needed a job. And I worked the booth at the finals and got hired by Helamatic. And now Helamatic and Smarty are together.
Yes, sir.
And you've got two of the best training platforms in the business now working side by side. I just had to tell you that because it's a special place in my heart for Helamatic because they're the one that brought me to the dance years and years ago.
Absolutely. So. It's if it proves anything, the Western network is so small. I mean,
right.
we're all hooked together no matter which position, title, anything that we have. So that's really awesome. It comes full circle for sure.
It absolutely does. So Smarty Rodeo, Helamatic joined your guys' team here, about a year ago? A little over a year, maybe?
Yeah, probably right at 2 years now.
Right at 2 years
transition
yep.
finally.
So you've got all of the great products from Smarty, all of the great products from Helamatic, all under one house right now, being built down in Mount Pleasant, Texas,
yes,
right?
Sir.
With a great manufacturing company.
It's top notch. It's we always joke like our production facility is cleaner than most people's houses. Like you could eat off the floor in there. There's some huge projects going on right alongside a roping dummy. So it's really neat.
Yeah, well, that's an awesome facility, and I've got to talk to that young man that owns the place a couple times, and what a great deal because they're in big time manufacturing too, aren't they?
Yes, sir. One of the I mean, they do things for the government. We do, outriggers for dump trucks, and then they do the frames that hold the windows up in the Las Vegas Raiders stadium. So there's some crazy ends of the spectrum that's involved with that. Yeah.
You're not kidding. We're going to make some windows in Smarty right here.
Yeah, and that's 100%. You walk in there that day, there may be some things you don't need to see, and then the next thing's 4 sleds right behind it, or a set of pipes or something. It's crazy.
That's pretty cool. So let's talk right into it right now. One thing that Smarty has always done that has been awesome and for years, and you've got Abby Barnes over there, and I know on the Helamatic side, Abby had the young pro team, and now Smarty has been so aggressive with the youth, and it's been great, whether it be the high school, the junior athletes, the college side of it, and then everything, all the different machines. It's not just team roping.
Correct.
It's for everybody. Talk about the whole program.
Yeah, so, you said it, like our biggest initiative is the youth of the sport.
Yeah.
We've, in the last couple years, we've introduced a Bronc, the Smarty Bronc, which is, very lifelike with the help of several professionals. We've got a steer wrestling machine, the steer saver, the horse saver that you can steer wrestle, goat tie. Coleman Proctor got one, and he built up a sled, and he's been steer tying.
Oh, he
ties a steer down or puts it on his sled and practices getting off for the steer tripping, So, just trying to figure out the best way for people to get started in their discipline without hurting themselves. I was joking the other day, we did a deal with Colton Schmidt and Nelson Wyatt, Dakota Eldridge, and Clayton Haas at Tarleton before the timed event. They were helping the team ropers out a little bit, and I've never weighed enough other than getting carried down the end of the arena for a steer, but listening to Dakota and Clayton break it down on that bulldogger, I felt like I could jump a steer. And I've gotten zero clue, nor I didn't try it. I'm not that dumb. In 47, I'm not by no means. That ship sailed. But just being able to listen to those guys go slow, and the athlete not being worried about a homemade steer hurting him by jumping off and, bruising him up or whatever. But it was really cool. So for a kid starting or somebody, a novice trying to really get into the sport, I don't know how you could get a better scenario.
That confidence is what it's all about. You break a kid's confidence at a young level right there. And did you ever jump steers? Did you ever bulldog at all?
No, we shoot dogged a little bit. But, I weighed 110 pounds when I graduated college, so it didn't go very good.
Yeah, you and I both. I wrestled 119 my senior year. I steer wrestled in high school and college, and you talk about getting packed down the arena. That was me. Like, I'd jump him right here, and he'd pack me all the way down there. But it was scary.
Sure.
It was scary. The only thing that we did to practice was get off on a couple hay bales. Like, that was it. And then it was like, back in and crack your knee and go.
Yeah, our guys, in college I helped them a lot. We had an old farm pickup, and you pulled this makeshift sled with a barrel on it, and it didn't move or flex. And those guys just jumped off and just about hung themselves, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like, man, there's no way this is fun. I don't even know what you guys are doing here.
Absolutely.
So and to your point too, in the Smarty Bronc, a lot of collegiate programs are using it. But think about this: a bareback rider, to have Bobby Moat being able to ride the machine and stand beside you while it's dropping, and being able to spur it and go through lifelike motions. I mean, that's got to be something that you cannot get anywhere else.
You can't get that anywhere else, and that goes back to like slowing it down in their mind, because it's scary. Those events are scary. Bulldog and Bronc ride, you can't say they're not. There's a fear factor in there too, but then when you build that confidence up, one ride at a time, slow, and you have somebody like Bobby Moat talking in your ear and, hey, you're fine, stay hooked, whatever, and work on it. And then when you do get on that horse, they're already light years ahead. I mean, that's just like the team roping. Look at how these kids are roping. It's because of Helimatic and Smarty and 100%. Watching videos. I mean, what else is it?
Well, we talk to so many of them at our camps or anything, and I mean, the internet, right, is such a resource, but they can YouTube, or they can X Factor, they can roping.com, Jade Corkhill, Hunter. There's some awesome videos of those guys throwing loops, and go out there and mimic it, and get their mom or their grandma, or my 6-year-old boy pulls ours. You know what I mean? So like you can do it as a family. You can slow it down. They're also realistic now, too, to where you can get a real dally in a pool and feel what that feels like on your horn instead of freaking out the first time you get one on a steer and you're so excited you caught, and who knows what you have tangled up. And like you said, may ruin you for the rest of it. So that part's been fun. And the machines have gotten so advanced that, I mean, it is lifelike. Watch these boys. I mean, I've seen kids that – have never roped steers. In the first steer, they look better than people that have been roping for years because they've healed the dummies 100 times, a day.
Absolutely. So, one thing you and I were talking about is that acquisition of Helimatic here a couple of years ago. There's a lot of people that may not know that they have that option of getting a hold of you guys or going through the retailers, and a Pipes or a Bones. That was a great example because, truth be told, feel the same exact way. I think the Bones, a little partial, but I think the Bones is one of the best head and dummies going. It's a huge confidence builder. And then on the Helin side of it, the Pipes is the best stationary dummy going. It is. And so I don't think people may not know that there's an opportunity there where you're supporting both companies right there, and that company then in turn is supporting all the youth. So you have options right there in products.
Yeah, we've been making a good focus. I mean, the company is Smarty Rodeo, but that's Smarty and Helimatic. And so we've been getting the message out, especially to our dealers, our wholesale network, and even at retail events or live events, that like you said, it's one family, and they do still have their own brands because there is some loyalty back and forth. We haven't really blended the product because they all have their uniqueness about them. Just like that, we've had people that are diehard, Smarty ground dummy people, or diehard Bones people, and they do present a little different facet for your likeness, and some people have both of them. A lot of the pros will have a Bones and a Smarty, mix it up a little bit, or the headset and things like that too. So that's a cool option to have. Now it's kind of a one-stop shop is what we're shooting for, I guess.
Absolutely, and you just touched on something. One of the main reasons, Amanda's been there for quite a while. You joined the team here a few months back, and we've known each other a long time, and you know this industry, the retail space. So that's really what you're working on too, is helping refine that retail outlets and all of that.
Yeah, and wholesale. I've been in the.
Or I meant wholesale. That's what I meant. Right. Yeah, retail stores, the wholesale side of the business.
Yeah, I basically sold wholesale, since 2001. About 15 years at Equibrand, and the last 10 or 11 years at Durango Boots, and kind of really worked as a sales rep and as a manager, as national sales manager at the end of the Durango deal. But our focus right now is taking care of our dealers. We have a great partnership here. A lot of the events at the Lazy with National Saddlery. Trying not to compete against them. We do. You can go online and buy our product, but we'd rather you go to a dealer and pick it up from who you like to do business with. In the local deal, we'll support them all we can. So. My focus is that, and then we do have a retail location in Mount Pleasant, our own store, and just sales in general. Just trying to, there's no real secret to it. Take care of your customers and make them want to buy from you. We have a great product, and just being able to get it in their hands.
Absolutely. What do we got coming down the pike? Anything new? Anything?
Well, machine-wise and stuff. I mean, as far as the kids are probably the biggest. Area right now, we introduced the Super Shorty. So you've been familiar with the Super Slider and the Smarty Shorty. We basically combined them. So we have them here. This is actually the first retail event that we had them at. It's awesome. It's got the same headset like the Bones. You can put the 3 different horns on him.
Oh.
It's got feet that don't get stuck. You can. These kids have been torturing it for the last 3 or 4 days outside. And
so that's what they're roping right out here.
Yeah, the black one. He's beefy. He actually looks like a cow. You put a horn wrap on him. You can rope him with a real head rope.
Yep.
So that's been cool. The stores have been really receptive to that, and the kids are loving it for sure. We've got a couple other things in the works, but our main thing is kind of getting the message out and just making sure that I think a little bit in the transition, Smarty's changed a little, Heel-O-Matic's changed a little. Make sure we didn't get lost in their eye, hey, we're still here. And we've been getting great reports, out in Arizona and from our dealer network that, I think it's the price of cattle and everything else, helping. Don't get me wrong, and there's a lot of other good brands out there, but some really good sell-through. We've been having some great numbers, and it's been real rewarding to hear people calling us, hey, we need more. We can't keep enough in stock. That's always music to my ears.
When those steers are $1,300 around,
100%.
It makes a $4,000 or $5,000 machine look pretty dang cheap over and over and over.
Yeah, I mean you can substitute your practice for a set of practice cows at your house, and entry fees are expensive, and there's not much out there that's cheap anymore. So a one-time investment in that has made a big difference for all of us. And just the availability to go practice and knock it out in 30 minutes and be done.
Absolutely. That's the biggest thing is repetitions.
Yes,
it's
sir.
all about the reps, and that is one for people that I got to go rope live cattle. Yeah, you definitely, there is no substitute. There is no substitution for live cattle, but you've got to get reps. You have got to throw your head rope. You have got to see reticular activation. You have got to heel. You've got to throw that loop, and you've got to throw it a bunch. You've got to shoot free throws.
One of the coolest stories, and I think it's relatable to all of us, when Luke Brown and I have been friends for a long time. When he moved down to Texas, he'd go rope with Al Bach. And this is how long ago that was. I was probably taller than Paul Eves then. Paul was living with Al, and he was pulling the Smarty, or the whatever they were roping then, probably the Heel-O-Matic. Back then. Luke would turn Al steers, 3, 4, 5 steers, and they'd stop. And Al would make Paul or whoever it was pull the dummy, and he'd work on his loop, work on whatever, go right back to the steers, 3 or 4 steers, right back to the dummy. So once again, there's no substitution for the live, but to be able to say, okay, this is what I was doing, here's how my loop's hitting, here's how my horse isn't or is working, man, I mean, how can you beat that? And if those guys are doing it, why aren't we doing it?
So I lived there.
Yeah.
I lived there and went from a 6 to an 8 in 2 months because of how Al made us practice.
Sure.
And it was 100% like that. Yeah, we roped a bunch of steers. We camped on the dummy. We were, and whether it was hopping or not, he'd take the Heel-O-Matic and put it at the top of the hop with a ratchet strap and keep it and just work on delivery. Just work on delivery. We've got our timing. We're not working on timing right now. We're working on delivery. And that regimen, I just got to tell you a little story real quick. So speaking of reps, it was exactly what you just said. You go run a few steers, and we jump on a 4-wheeler, and we'd refine. And then we'd rope a few steers, and then we'd refine, and then we'd rope a few steers. And you would do that. You would end up in a day getting 1,000 throws instead of 50 runs.
Yeah.
And that was Big Al's deal was he was like, how do we get the most amount of runs? So the other thing that we would do is he got calf roping calves. And this is how we worked on our timing. We got calf roping calves, just little buggers, and we put them on a halter. And we would put a clip in the cheek, and we would go down, let's say if you were heeling, I'd go down and handle him about halfway down the pin, but Alan wouldn't let you rope him on the corner. You had to wait till about the fence. So you'd see about 50 of those little jumps. And then you'd throw your rope, and I'd keep a hold of that calf. You'd rebuild, and I'd reset him 2 or 3 times.
Wow.
By the time those calves are small and they get tired, so by the last time we turn him, you're going to heel that one on the 4th or 5th jump. If you add up all the jumps, you had 50 jumps that you looked at, then you had 20 jumps, and then by the 3rd or 4th time, it's 5 or 10 jumps. Well, in one calf out of the chute, you had just seen 100 jumps. For healers out here today, they're going to get 2 jumps in a 5-6 second run, and that's all their practice. Think about that in an average run,
crazy.
Right? As a healer, that was where that math came in, where it made me a believer of roping a dummy. And doing the things that got you reps, because as a healer, our practice in a 7-second run is 2 jumps. That's it.
Yep. And they're not consistent for one run to another. I mean, depending upon, we were fortunate to rope with some good guys.
Yeah.
Most people
not
don't
the
have
case.
that option. Yeah. Or steers or anything.
Yeah. So anybody that's ever been on the fence about a Smarty or a Helimatic, promise you that those reps right there, if you just, like you say, 15 minutes, it's like going to the gym. Don't go work out for an hour and a half and get 0 results and then quit next week. Go and work out for half an hour over and over and over and over again, and you will build up that muscle memory, and everything will get so much in your horses.
And more importantly, I think there is some both sides of that too, right? Like the doing it right scenario. Like,
yes.
My biggest fan is also my worst person pulling the dummy, which is Amanda, my wife. She'll help me, and it frustrates the heck out of me because she can't get on there and show me how to do it, but she can tell me, and she's usually right, but I got to wait till it's my idea. But she'll be pulling the sled. We'll do it right 4 or 5 times on the good horse. She turns 4-wheeler off, and I'm just having fun now. Like, she's like, that's good. He's good. Like, rewarding, you know what I mean? So you have some that you need. We need hundreds. But those horses being able, hey, they did it right 4 or 5 times consistently. Call it good, tie him up, go feed him, do whatever, get your other one out. You know what
That's
I mean?
hard to do. When it feels good, it's hard to do.
And I think that's what the problem is, right? Even as kids, when we start doing so good, is you just want to rope, you know, and until you work yourself into a problem, you know. And
it's a fine line right there.
So being able to have all those consistencies of the dummy makes a huge difference. Just like shooting a free throw, right? All those guys' rhythm. Same amount of dribbles, the same breaths, whatever, to make 100 in a row, and that's what we're shooting for. Because when you get out here, man,
I was just gonna say,
there's no way. I don't care if you're Corey Petska fixing to run one or these young kids. There's no way you can think your way through a run in 6 seconds like that.
No,
it is reaction.
It is reaction, 100%.
Yeah, I mean, they can tell you all they want, but the good guys maybe can, but most of
we
them,
can't.
I can't tell you very many. I can watch a video and prove that it wasn't even me sometimes. You know, so it's been good.
Well, Jay, I sure appreciate it, and the entire crew. You guys doing a phenomenal job, and thanks for being a big part of this. Most of all, thanks for what you're doing for the youth. And the entire – I mean, really and truly, that's where it's all at, and it's showing right now. These kids are open so good.
Well, and that's where our focus is and will continue to be. You know, you get them started right. We'd love to see them succeed. I was talking with, Tyler and Denton and all the boys. I mean, no matter what brand they rope, just they all got their foundation there. I mean, how else do you start them? And you don't just throw them to the wolves, and they become wolves real quick.
Absolutely.
And that's fun to watch. It's real rewarding for us for sure.
It sure is.
And I'd like to say too, I mean, Cammie and Darren and the whole staff, man, it's top-notch events. I mean, we would hope to be part of it for as long as possible, as long as they'll have us, because it's first class. Treat the people right, treat the sponsors right, and we appreciate that for sure.
Well, that's awesome. Well, it is a great match. I mean, where else is Smarty going to be than at the best team rope and the biggest open rope in the world? Right?
Yeah, we want to be right here.
Absolutely. Well, Jay, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thanks for. Well, everybody, there it is, and you can check them out online at.
Oh yeah, you can go to SmartyRodeo.com.
Yep, go to SmartyRodeo.com or any of their dealers all over and check out their product line. Well, everybody, Jay and I are going to turn around just like everybody else that comes up here to the EQN Sports as powered by Equinity. We're going to put the mics down, we're going to turn around, and we're going to watch some team roping is what we're going to do right now. So if you want to watch it and you are home, go to BFIweek.com where you can follow all of the action and make sure and tune in because we're whittling our way down. I don't know who it's going to be. Oh, you know what I forgot to do? I got to put you on the spot.
Uh-oh.
Who's your pick?
Oh man, well,
I know
my pick just got a leg a minute ago, so I'm gonna have to.
Oh yeah, audible.
Man, it's hard to pick away from those boys.
I know it. I know it is.
That dang, I got to go with Tyler Trine, man. I mean, 80 grand yesterday, win the first round today. I mean, I think it got to be crazy not to bet on him.
Absolutely.
There's a lot of guys here I respect and have looked up to my whole life, but man, those boys are climbing that list in a hurry.
Yes, they are. Yes, they are. Well, that is a pretty solid pick right there. All right, everybody, we'll be back in a little bit. Make sure you go to BFIweek.com to watch all the action. And also remember, in a few days, you can come back and relive it on ropin.com. On behalf of Jay, I'm Drew Subel. Catch you in a little bit.